Hi guys, with the new school year coming up, I was just talking to my aunt the other day because she knows everything, right? About like all my different cousins and everyone in my family that went to school, right? I mean, my parents never did. Well, I'll get into that. So sorry. So I'm like first generation, and so like I'm proud of myself for that, but there are several cousins in my family that have accomplished great things, and I thought I'd just go through my entire family tree basically because apparently everybody cares. Yeah. And so this is just like my dad's side of the family, right? The Pie family. I know nothing about my mom's side of the family. I don't know if anybody went to college, much less where. I will say my mom went to Lynn University in Florida, Boca Raton, I think. It is a real college. She is a real person too. She didn't get, I don't want to say like a real degree, but it was like a certificate, right? She has like a certificate of hospitality, something like that. So not actually a degree, but she spent, I don't know, a little bit of time there after high school. I'm not sure what class she was because she was sped, so the years might have been off. But that's all I know on her side of the family. So for my dad's side of the family, right, my grandpa at least, he was in the Navy. I feel like you have to be, kind of smart for that, right? He served in World War II. He died, but like, yeah, a few years ago, but like, yeah. And so they had 5 kids, right? So my aunt Kathy, she didn't go to college, but she went to beautician / like cosmetology school, right? She was a hairdresser, and that's not like a degree or anything, but that's like, she had to do like a lot of training and stuff. And so, I mean, she was born in like 1961, so it was probably like right around 1980, like right out of high school. I'm not sure, within, a few years, around her 20s, right? So she did that. My other aunt didn't go to college. My uncle, right? So then my uncle Mark, he went to like the local community college, right? Harper College. And he did like night school and stuff, but I think it was more so for like the knowledge than an actual degree because he was already making bank. He already had a successful like career and everything. It was, I think it was just so he could learn a couple things. It did take him like a really long time to accomplish like those classes, so maybe he did actually get a degree. I don't know. He just talked about it with me like last week, but he didn't give me all the details. So I don't know. It's still cool. I'm not sure when he did that because I mean he even mentioned like he was still doing it when he had kids. So this is like a really year-long process. And his kids were born in the late 80s, 1889 and 1989 and 1990, or it's 1990 and 1991. Yeah, I think that's it actually. Oh my gosh. Okay, and then my dad did not go to college. He wanted to, but that's not the point of this video, right? So, then my Uncle Steve, right, he's the youngest. He went to, I have it written down on a sticky note, he went to Azusa Pacific University in Florida. I know. It's like a small, like, private Christian college, I think, because he was raised Roman Catholic, right? He just like really wanted to go far, I guess. And so he has a bachelor's in, I couldn't find him on LinkedIn or anything, but he became a teacher, right? And so I think he actually got his degree in like history, right? So he could be a history teacher, but he actually never taught history. I think that's one of those like ironic stories. He taught special education for a while, which is actually also ironic because he has a lot of health issues. And I think actually one time someone pushed him down the stairs. But I'm going to estimate that he went to college around 1992 to 1996 because he was born in 1973. And I think he actually repeated kindergarten or something, which means, right, so like 1973 plus 19 is like 82, 92. Okay, so I think it was around 1992 to 1996. And then we go to my cousins, right? So we'll start with like the oldest first, right? So my aunt Jeannie had kids first. So Melanie was the first one to go to college. She actually went to Mizzou. I know. And when I got accepted into Mizzou and I told my Aunt Jeannie that, she was so excited for me. And I was excited too. I was like, oh my God, like what a legacy. My cousin went there. I love her so much. Mizzou is an amazing school. I'm not going to Mizzou. A little too expensive, but I loved the idea. She attended from 2002 to 2006 is my guess, right? Because her older brother, I mean, unfortunately, he's passed away, but he was born in 1981, and I think then she was born in 1984, so that means she would have been 18 in 2002. Don't shoot the messenger. But yeah, she went to Mizzou. Fun fact, she actually started the women's rugby team, and it's not, I looked it up after hearing that because I learned about it last fall, and it's not like an official sport at Mizzou, but it's like a club sport or a rec sport or something like that. But either way, she did rugby. Yeah, she was that shit. Yeah, she was that girl. Then her younger brother, my cousin Adam, he went to Colby College in Maine. Also wanted to get away a little bit, I guess, but Northeast is where it's at because he was pre-med, right? He attended Colby College from 2006 to 2010, and then he took a 2-year break. I don't know, my aunt told me yesterday he got like his master's and stuff too, but I'm not seeing that on his LinkedIn profile. And then he went to the University of Pennsylvania. That's right, the Perelman School of Medicine. That's right, my dream school. From 2012 to 2017, that's what it said on LinkedIn, he got his PhD. He's definitely the coolest person in my family by far, education-wise at least. And then actually his wife, Jennifer, who I love very much, I did only meet her once, but right, like these are my cousins and stuff, and they have kids now too, right, that are, they're young, right, elementary school, not even elementary school age. I'm not gonna dox everybody on here, but she was actually a year older than him. Rawr, good for her. Also, look her up on LinkedIn because she's beautiful, but also very smart, because how smart these people are. So Jennifer, she went to Colby College. I don't know if they met then or in medical school, but she attended from 2005 to 2009. Shout out to 2009. And then she also attended the University of Pennsylvania Perelman School of Medicine from 2012 to 2018. So not sure if I just wrote it down wrong, but like for her PhD, hers took 6 years and his took 5. I don't know. I think he did like maybe a special program. Couldn't tell you. She is so smart though. I can't even understand what she has on her header of her LinkedIn, much less this girl's got like 24 publications and like honors or whatever they call it on LinkedIn. She's a beast. That's like my biggest flex, is being related to her. Moving on to the next set of cousins, right? Uncle Mark had 2 kids. So Ashley, she went to Loyola University in Chicago. Very, very good school. From 2008, when I was born. This is the only way I remember when people went to school, and all my cousins in my family, because I have to go off when I was born. I was like, okay, so she was 18 when I was born, Adam was 20 when I was born. My cousins have quite a big age gap, if you haven't noticed. I was the first cousin born in the 2000s, right? And then it was my brother, and then it was my younger cousin, so who knows. But she attended Loyola University from 2008 to 2012, and she majored in, I forgot to tell you what everybody majored in, but it's fine. She majored in accounting with a minor in finance, French, and photography. She changed it quite a few times over that period. And then she went back to NIU, I guess, to get her master's from 2017 to 2019, and now she is a tax senior manager in Colorado. She's doing incredible, that I know. So sorry for forgetting to tell you what everybody majored in. I left off at Uncle Steve. So Melanie, she's I think either a speech therapist or a physical therapist. I don't know. Her wife Rachel is also one of those things, right? So one of them is a speech pathologist or something, and one is a physical therapist. I get them mixed up because I literally don't even talk to them like once a year. But Melanie and Rachel, yeah, they actually met in Mizzou. Can you imagine? I don't really consider Missouri a southern state, but like, can you imagine being gay in the early 2000s my icon, okay? And then Adam's major was biology, and then Jennifer's major, it said, was also biology with a concentration in neuroscience with like 2 minors. I think it was chemistry and Japanese. I was like, damn, what is with my family and languages? So yeah, and then now back to Ashley, and then Bradley. He went to DePaul University. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so he started at Harper College. And he did that for 1 year on purpose, and then transferred to DePaul because they had like an entrepreneurship, like 3-year program that he wanted to do, and then he didn't actually end up majoring in like that kind of stuff. He majored in finance, minored in accounting, right? So flip-flop of Ashley, she majored in accounting, minored in finance. Crazy stuff, I know, but he is making like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Major in finance, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe it was a good time to be alive, but he went to DePaul essentially from 2009 to 2013. I feel like I missed something. And then I'm the next youngest. Right, I know, he was born in 1991. I was born in 2008. Yeah, so then we have me. I'm going to Penn State. I am starting at the Behrend campus in Erie, Pennsylvania, Northwest Pennsylvania, but I have to because of my major, right? My major is biomedical engineering. That's like, right? I don't know if it works for every engineering major, but my roommate is a mechanical engineer major. And she is also, like, I don't want to say forced, but we both have to transfer to the main campus. I did look it up, or like I tried to do some research on it, and I think you actually transfer your 4th semester. But I feel like that's going to be kind of out of whack. I'll have to see what my roommate does, because it's not a big deal to me, but I don't know. So after a year or two, I'll transfer to the main campus, and I'll graduate from the Pennsylvania State University, which is ironic when I also told my Aunt Jeannie that, because her son, right, my cousin Adam, went to the University of Pennsylvania, and obviously, and it's funny because I also want to continue on to med school, right? So bachelor's from 2026 to 2030. I know it's insane to think of. And then medical school from 2030 to 2034, potentially 2035, depending on how I do. After medical school, I'm not telling you guys what else I'm going to do because that's a secret. Maybe I will continue my education. I thought about a PhD. We'll see how it goes. This is 8 years in the making, right? It's just such a crazy story, especially when I hear about Adam and Jennifer, especially Adam, right? Because he's like my actual cousin. Because I've always wanted to go to the University of Pennsylvania. I wasn't a good enough student in high school to go to an Ivy League, of course. So I recognize that that's a really big deal for him, and maybe a little bit of jealousy because that's my dream school. And I'm sure it was hard to get into in 2012 as well. I remember being like 10 years old and my aunt was talking to me in the car about, yeah, Adam just finished his PhD. And I was like, this kid's been in college my entire life. When is it going to end? And she's like, I think he's done now. I don't even know if you can go past a PhD. You really can't. So good for him though. I mean, all these people are making hella bank with what they were able to do with their lives. So the Pi family is, I would like to say, very ambitious when it comes to schooling. And so I'm gonna try to channel my family inside of my veins when I'm at school, right? Everybody's had their hardships, but like, I don't want to be the cousin that sticks out. Maybe that'll be my brother's job, right? My brother's a year younger than me, 11 months, whatever. As far as I know, he doesn't want to go to college. He doesn't want to go to the military. He doesn't want to go into trades. He's like going down a bad path. Not because he doesn't want to pursue further education, but just because like he's going through stuff. And then my cousin Sierra, who's 2 years younger than me, right? That's Uncle Steve's kid. She's doing great, right? She has great grades. Why I said I didn't want to be the cousin that stood out is because I know she's not going to fail, right? Her mother's side of the family is entirely Filipino, so not to go off stereotypes, but they're going off stereotypes, right? They're mad that she doesn't, the typical like Asian family, like they're mad when she doesn't get an A+, like they want her to do all these things. She's facing a lot of pressure, but I know she's going to thrive, and so she succeeds and I don't. And even my brother somehow succeeds. Like, I don't want to be the sore thumb, right? And like the sore thumb in like that, like my grandparents' kids, right? The 5 kids, my dad's that one. So let's not like turn my dad's very specific lineage like bad luck, right? Anyways, so yeah. I really wanted to go to the University of Pennsylvania Perelman School of Medicine. I say that 10 times fast. University of Pennsylvania Perelman School of Medicine. I tried to apply to that college actually when I was 11 years old. I was in 6th grade. I looked up best medical schools, and for some reason that one called my name, right? It's not like the best, right? Everybody always says that's like Oxford or, Harvard, but it called my name. And then Pennsylvania, I was like, that's where Adam lives. He lived because he was going there. I didn't know he was going there, but I just knew he lived in Pennsylvania at the time. I was like, this is so cool. I need to go to Pennsylvania. I need to go to this school. I literally tried to apply. I didn't get very far, right? Because I had to select my graduation year, and I was 11 years old, so I didn't even know my graduation year. I had to like count ahead. I was like 2026. Mind you, it was literally 2019 at the time. So I was like, that's really far. And they thought so too. So drop down menu didn't even come. I was like, I'll come back. And I will, right? Okay, that's the top medical school I want to go to, not because it's the best. That's just a great coincidence, but because I want to go there, right? So every time I had an assignment in school, pretend that you are, giving an interview when you went to college, or tell us about your dream job. It was always my background, University of Pennsylvania Perelman School of Medicine. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not talking about like medical schools like in general, like to you guys, because I feel like that's like not really a secret, but it is kind of a secret, right? I haven't even done my bachelor's, and there's just so many people in my life, not my friends actually, my family, right? People like my dad that are just like, you're never gonna go anywhere. And like, okay, obviously I know that's not true, but like I've just had bad luck my entire life, and some people just don't believe in me, and so I'm just trying to keep things private. I don't want to start talking about medical school just yet out loud because I haven't even started undergrad, but I do have plans. I have the next 4 years planned out, believe me. I know what I need to do. I know the different types of hours and experience I need to get. I am quite a few tricks up my sleeve that I'm planning to pull out. I've got plans. I'll still take, critique, tips, right? I had a sit-down conversation with Uncle Mark, right? Because he's the finance guy in our family. And we had like an hour-long conversation just about like what my plans were. And he was asking me questions and I had the answers. I've been waiting to go to college since I was in middle school. Try to apply to medical school when I was in 6th grade. I know I have things planned out. And it's not just because I was raised, in a toxic and abusive household. It's just, right, it's not the sense that I need to run away, but it just so happens that everywhere I want to go is very far, right? I didn't technically just choose Penn State because it was so far. I wanted to go far, right? I applied to Rutgers. I applied to Washington State, Washington State. Now I'm glad I didn't choose to go there because that's actually a little bit too scary for me. I did get accepted though. I mean, you would hope so, right? But I applied to these places that were all across the country, right? Washington was the most west. Rutgers was the most east. Mizzou was probably the most south. Yeah, I didn't really do much. I just applied everywhere. I did want to get away, right? But ultimately I picked Penn State because I guess you could say some of the prestige, right? But prestige earns its name, right? Penn State is a Big Ten school. It's amazing academics. The Northeast is just perfect for, medical schools, right? Especially if you think about like where you want to work. Boston Children's Hospital, boom, Massachusetts. Harvard Medical School, Massachusetts. Johns Hopkins, basically except for the Mayo Clinic, right? That's in Minnesota, but it's still north. Or UNC Chapel Hill, that's a really good medical school apparently. That's slightly south, but it's still east. Everything is basically in the Northeast. So I think it's a blessing in disguise that I am going to school in Pennsylvania. Because maybe I'll stay in Pennsylvania. Maybe I'll go to Maine. Maybe I'll go to Massachusetts. Maybe I'll go to Maryland. I will say, when I have been thinking about past med school, in the past, I did, for like class assignments in high school, right? Oh, pick a future career where you're going to live. I did pick Minnesota because I've been in Minnesota, a couple times before and I loved it. I picked Mayo Clinic because that's really nice, but maybe I was born to be in the Northeast like good old Adam and Jen. And maybe I'm destined to be closer to them. I don't know. I know you're not supposed to be thinking about family. You're supposed to be thinking about yourself and your career. And believe me, I'm thinking about my career every single second. I've known what I wanted to do since I was in elementary school. Like, exactly what I wanted to do. Yeah. Funnily enough, my mom is the one that always believed in me. Back when I actually still liked her and wanted to talk to her, in elementary and middle school, I was always telling her, yeah, I want to go to medical school, I want to be an actor, I want to blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, you can definitely do that. For context, my mother literally has a mental disability. But, I guess that doesn't stop you from believing in your children, okay? Maybe I may not be 100% confident she loves me, but she does believe in me, right? She gives me these medical textbooks, actually, which some of them are pretty cool. I don't even think, like, the outdated ones are that outdated. They're just really good reference materials. She recently, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, she's been giving me these things for years. It's just stuff that her library sells or gives away or half-price books. There was this amazing book. It's at my dad's house right now, but it's huge. First of all, it's kind of heavy. It's like this thick, and they're photos. They are up close microscopic photos of the human body, and it's not outdated at all. It is made within my lifetime, of like even less than that, of course. And it's just amazing microscopic pictures of inside your body. You want to know what your ovaries look like? Turn to page 80. It is divided by system. I've shown 2 of my teachers, my anatomy teacher and my health occupations teacher, and they were head over heels with it as well. Like, she does do good sometimes, and she's a little silly sometimes. She's like, oh, make sure to bring these to college, but low-key I am bringing them to college, right? Just because I'm not in medical school yet, right? I'm in pre-medical school. still nice to look at. And then this one she got me last Christmas, right? Christmas of 2025, was this really up-to-date medical textbook, and it was just color-coded and everything. My goal, I want Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, I'm so dead ass. When I went to Minnesota, that was a little cringy, a little corny, Minnesota, on a trip with my best friend a couple years ago when I was a sophomore. We went to a Barnes & Noble inside the mall, because we went to the Mall of America, and I saw Grey's Anatomy. I literally have a picture of me holding it, and I didn't have any money left, story of my life, to buy it, because it's, you know, pretty good price, because it's a really good book, but just Grey's Anatomy. Somebody get me Grey's Anatomy, or give me the money, because honestly, I'd love to buy it myself, because I want to hold it physically in my hands in a bookstore. I feel like I'm getting a little off topic, but I just want to give some context to my whole family. There are some really cool people in my family. I don't think it gets any cooler than that. I mean, this isn't a competition, but maybe it's a competition against myself. But if these people can accomplish it, maybe my family isn't as unlucky as I thought. Maybe it's truly just my dad. I do feel bad he couldn't go to college. It was a mix of him being a product of his environment, aka he's a little shithead, and just unfortunate serious, right? And so now he's just a pessimistic guy that brings it up occasionally. I'm really proud of myself for the school that I'm going to. Maybe it's not the best in the entire world, but it doesn't need to be, right? It is a very good school, Penn State. Especially my campus is really good with the engineering program, and it's just an excellent location. Found out within the past couple years that I love hockey. And where is a great place in the world to love hockey? The Northeastern United States. In fact, my campus town literally has a local OHL league, one of only, I think, 3 U.S. OHL teams in the country, right? The world, right? Well, OHL is Ontario Hockey League, right? That's inside the CHL, the Canadian Hockey League. And so, like, obviously, the Erie Otters. I'm so excited. Season opener is September 26th, I think. I'll be there. How much could tickets possibly be? Forget about gas and groceries. My budget is going towards hockey. I'm super excited. But yeah, I'm really proud of myself for the school I'm going to. And yeah, in a way, I'm kind of sticking it to my dad. Oh, yeah, I'm going 500 miles away from you. I'm pursuing something you never thought I could, right? My dad didn't even think I'd get into any colleges, right? Like I said, I wasn't a perfect student in high school, right? I have gotten a D before. I'm not proud of it at all. I'm not even proud of my C's. But I was also a product of my environment. And, you know, some people thrive and some people are just sick of their fucking dad. Pardon my French. And he was like, I don't even know how you're going to get in any schools with those grades. Time for him to find out schools don't only look at grades. I think I wrote a heck of an essay. I had amazing extracurriculars, right? I have gotten awards. I'm in clubs and stuff, and now when I'm going into college, of course, I'm definitely going to try to figure out how to balance it accordingly, especially being a pre-med majoring in engineering. I need to have a very high GPA, but extracurriculars are also going to be important. I'd like to do a sport, right? It's important to be physically active, especially since I have lots of fitness-related activities on my bucket list, right? How are you going to run a marathon if you don't even run, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, and he never thought I'd actually, you know, go into the major that I am. I don't even think he knows what my major is. Pre-med, I'm sure it's blowing his mind. I'm not doing this really at all in spite of him, but it does make me feel a little bit better picturing his jaw dropped. Not in the sense that he'd be proud of me, but, you know, I'll let him come to my graduation if he wants, if he's still alive. So if somebody could arrange that would be nice. He's not a great guy. I hope my brother pursues something. I wish I was a few years older than him so I'd be able to help him more, right? So, oh yeah, my sister actually just graduated college and I'm graduating high school. Like, right, but we're only 11 months apart. There's only so much I can do for him. Clearly I couldn't help him in high school. I just hope I'll be able to help him in some way. I mean, he came to my graduation. I really hope that it inspired him to graduate. That's where we're at right now for context. I don't know if he's going to graduate. And if he does, it might not be on time. He even mentioned graduating early, and I'm like, you literally have 10 credits and you're going to be a senior in high school. How are you going to make up 14 in one semester? That's literally not even possible. You'd have to take 14 classes. And he goes to summer school, but it's like, my cousin Sierra, I have no doubt she is going to be amazing. I don't know what she wants to do technically, right? Like I said, like her Filipino side of her family, they, you know, only have like 2 options, right? She's either a doctor or a lawyer, but I think maybe she would also be interested in being an engineer, or perhaps she said that she wanted to be a nurse, you know, before, and turns out she's a little squeamish, right? But, I don't know. I texted her then the other day, and I'm like, I want to help you. I want to give you tips if you need them, right? I'm going into college. Feel free to reach out at any time. So I'm trying to be that supportive. I want to be the person that I never had, because remember, my mom was the only one that really supported my dreams, and if I told anybody at that point, nobody took me seriously, because you're 12 years old. What do you mean you don't want to know what do you mean you want to do? Oh my God. You understand what I'm talking about, guys. I've always known what I wanted in that sense. Even my freaking school counselor didn't believe me, right? I'm picking my classes for senior year, and I'm like, yeah, so I want to take AP Physics. And she was like, pause. Do you think you can? Obviously, there's a little bit more to it than that, but that was essentially the conversation. I said, yes. Every interaction I've had with my school counselor, save for one time, I wanted to smack her around a little bit. May 1st decision day, they had a little activity in the cafeteria. You would sign your name, right, where you're going. She was like, oh, where are you going? I'm going to Penn State. She said, oh, wow. Get that look off your face right now before I do something about it. I'm gonna smack you. Mark my words. I will not forget about this Margaret Bosman. I swear, she never believed in me. Anyways, but my friends did, right? It's crazy, right? Family never believed in me in a million years, but I tell one of my not even close friends, yeah, I want to go here, I want to major in this. They're like, wow, you really know what you want. I'm really proud of you. I believe you can do it. And I'm like, you don't even know me. How do you know I can do it? Isn't that crazy? Friends that I'm not even best friends with, think that I can do more than my family thinks I can do. A little insulting. And that's why I don't tell anybody what I want to do. At this point, right, because I'm explaining, because obviously everybody knows I'm going to college. And so when they ask me my major, I have to explain that I'm pre-med. So everybody knows I want to go to med school, but everything else, I'm keeping private, guys. I don't care. Maybe I'll tell my roommates, my best friend. My best friend knows exactly what I want to do, actually. I don't even know if she remembers, because I have so many conversations with her about it. Nothing sometimes, but anyways, don't even know what I'm going to label this video because I talked about so many things. Maybe I'll just label it education. In conclusion, my family's pretty cool, and I hope to be as cool as them. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.